Like I said, if you guys still see that list of topics, number 12 and number 15 are two topics that you would need to speak to an attorney about. Specifically when it comes to timelines for foreclosures, it's really hard to get a general basic timeline because every state is different. Unfortunately, I have no control over that. No one else does. Every state is different, and that's when it's going to come down to when you start the foreclosure process. That's when you want to ask your attorney up front. We can ask that attorney up front for you. That's usually what our asset managers do, but again, it varies just so we can give you guys an idea. Number 15, that's 1,000% redemption period. 1,000%. Something you want to talk to your attorney about, especially in how it affects clean title. Redemption period is a period that allows the borrower to redeem their home. And I don't know many people have actually had that happen and work in that way. Usually they're just going to let it go. From my understanding, I think they're allowed to stay in the home during that period. And once that period's up, then you'd have to evict them and get them out. But again, that's something you're going to want to discuss with your attorney directly because they would know better than I would. I'm not an attorney, unfortunately. I won't be able to help too much in that aspect. But I think that kind of sums up almost everything that's on that list. I don't know if I missed anything.
All right, so I have a question. Right, we're opening this up to questions, sort of. Okay, just slide down. All right, so for whatever reason, I find out that you're the servicer on a loan, and I'm potentially interested in that property for some reason, some way, somehow. Is there any way for me to contact you and give like the secret word so that you give it back to the loan, to the note holder saying, hey, you know, you're looking to shop this loan? Because let's face it, every loan is always for sale. There's always a market, just like everything's for sale at any time. Is there a way to come to you and say, hey, you know, I know you're servicing the loan on 123 Main Street. Can you reach back out to the lender and find out if he wants to sell the note?
I can. I've never had that situation arise. That's actually a really good question. I can. It's not going to hurt anybody to ask. If you say, Shantae, I know you're servicing this loan, I'm interested. The worst that's going to happen is the lender's going to say, no, I don't want to sell it. Or you guys can't come up with a term, a number that you guys are both happy with. That, in worst case scenario, is what it would be. Best case scenario, they say, yeah, I'll get rid of it. I don't want it. And move on from there.
All right, but normally whenever you're going to call a company like you, you know, there's some phone, you know, gauntlet that you have to run through as far as putting in a loan number and a this and a that and a whatever to get in touch with somebody. Maybe not with you, but with a lot of lenders that I deal with. I do a lot of short sale type stuff. Okay. So we're somehow one way or another dealing with you. Is there a way around that? Is there, I mean, and I'm sure every company has different criteria, but I'm talking about with Madison right now. If I were to find out that you guys are servicing the loan, is there some way that I can get through and talk to somebody?
The only thing that you'd be able to do is provide me with the property address. So one, I need to know what loan you're talking about, and I doubt you'd have the loan number just because it wouldn't be your loan.
Right.
But you at least have the property address. The only thing I'm going to be able to do at that point is pass along your information to the current lender. And at that point, they'll leave that up to the lender to reach out to you. I don't need a loan number, but I can't give you information on that loan either.
No, understood. But when you say you mean you. You don't mean just a phone number that I picked up and called. Like that's on the regular paperwork, or everything goes through you, right? Or how big are you guys? How many people do you have answering the phone?
We have a few people answer the phone, but the phone actually runs through me first. So you call the regular 877 number. If you don't press an extension, it rings to my desk first. Directly extension 14. If not, you'll get an asset manager who'll answer the phone. They will 9 times out of 10 transfer that phone call back to me just to make sure I'm at my desk. If I don't answer, it's either I'm not at my desk, I'm probably in a meeting, or on the other line. That's not something that they would actually respond to or answer for you. They'd leave that up to me.
Okay.
Cool. So one of the things you talked about for those who are involved is the free review of collateral. When you're reviewing collateral, it's a big deal because if there's a problem with the collateral, you cannot foreclose. The collateral file has to be complete before you even start foreclosure. You can't send a demand letter out. You can't do anything. If you get deed in lieu, you can't file that deed in lieu until that collateral files together, because there's no chain of command of who owned the loan before you and how you got possession of that loan. They do it for free. Most companies charge some money for that. They also, she mentioned before, the whole collateral. So having a service whole collateral can be useful because if there's an issue or problem, they actually can pull it out of their file besides somebody third party to be pulling the file out. Another thing she talked about, good. Do you have a question?
Collateral of loans that you do not actually service.
No.
Okay.
We don't want to close. We don't want to have that conflict. They have to be serviced with us. The moment that they are service released, whether they transfer, whether the loan was sold, whether you foreclose on the property, that if you don't tell me otherwise, the collateral is going directly back to you. So if you sold the loan and you know someone, send it to the seller, you just provide me that information. But if the loan was transferred out, I will remove that collateral and I will send it back to you until you tell me something different. But I'll verify. I usually ask everybody, but we won't house anything that isn't a loan that we're servicing.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question on the collateral. Just how original is an original in collateral, right? Because for the most part, you can get most of those docs. You can scan them. You can store them as an electronic version. So
well, you should still have a hard copy. Someone should have a hard copy of the actual original note with the original signatures on them.
Because it's got a raised seal on it? Because half the time you can't tell the difference between an original signature and a faxed anyway.
You're right. You can't. But what I've seen in the collateral files that have come across my desk is that if they're a copy, they're stamped copy. If they're originals, they're stamped original. Like the word original is in these bold letters on the front page and on every page after.
Okay. So when you say you hold the collateral, you have the collateral, you got it in like a fireproof safe or something like that?
Yep. It
and
is
like
secured. It's not easy access.
Or like what happens if something happens to you in your facility, right? You don't.
They're actually not held directly in our facility for that reason alone.
Okay.
We hold them off of our facility. We'll keep them with us for just the time that it takes maybe to get an assignment recorded. But once your whole collateral is together and put together and fine, we will actually keep it separate from our office and our location because we never know what's going to happen with us.
Right.
It is kept in a fireproof safe in a secured place separate from our office. So when it comes time to you guys needing your collateral back, or if the loan was sold or transferred, we physically have to leave our office to go pick it up.
And why do I normally need that back? Because I sold it off to somebody else and somebody.
If you sold it off to somebody else, it would actually go to the person you sold it to. You would just have to tell me, hey, Shantae, send the collateral to the new buyer. This is who I sold the loan to. Here's her name and address. We send it with tracking because it's not something you want to lose. You send it via UPS, so it gets there in a short period of time as well. You wouldn't need it if you sold it, but they're telling people, or we've been told, and we've been telling people that you should hold on to that information if you foreclose on a property for a few years. I know my boss specifically, Kevin Cornell, he's the president of Madison Management. He holds on to the actual collateral after the property's been foreclosed on for a little while until he decides what he wants to do. So if he sells the property, he'll hold it up until the point of sale, and then he'll scan every image of it and actually get rid of the originals because you won't need it after the sale of the property. But he at least has it. God forbid he gets audited and someone needs.
Yeah, I did talk to Damien. We're up at the conference, and he talked about holding the collateral file. Sometimes 5-7 years, it keeps a problem with title or issue. But I'm sure scanning is not a problem. All the files are all there. So yeah. I burnt my first one, which was not smart. But my first file, yeah. It was what it was. I'm sure it was people will watch it later will laugh, so they know who they are. But we burnt the first one because it was just a pain in the butt. Don't do that. Hold on to it because they always can go back with any issue with title and show what happened. So at least scan it if you don't do that, but hold it in. I'm holding mine in my house. You know, basically a fireproof big old-fashioned brick kind of. Anything I foreclosed on, I fell off. So then I scan it. That's what I'm doing. Right, wrong, or indifferent is what it is. Or you can pay 24 hours a year for them to store it. Would you store past collateral, old collateral, or you usually ship it out, don't you?
No, we'll get rid of it. If the loan's not active and if we're not doing anything with it, we're not charging you a servicing fee, we don't hold it.
Yep. Okay. I know that a lot of questions about the debt collection stuff and stressing upon the fact that your licensing is not coverage on client managed is a big deal because a lot of people are using client managed like FCI stuff and be able to do their own stuff. Because of a lot of issues coming down, we can't do that any longer. It's dangerous. We watched the video.
I can see you guys.
There we go. So, move them all. I know we talked about a lot of stuff, REO and stuff like that, which would be good. So, from start to finish, basically, to get collateral file, you let your old, whoever serves loan before, when you buy something, you let them know to transfer it. The transfer information to transfer the file from them to you guys is on their website, and it provides Shanti the information, the phone number, and the hours are open. That's usually on every kind of transfer form you buy a loan. So once that's transferred, the loan go buy letter you talked about, that has to go out to the seller's point to buy, and then the loan letter has to go out from them saying we are now your new servicers. You cannot, if you're going to propose, things have to go out before you do anything. It's a 30-day time period. So FYI, add that to your calculation if you get two things. If it's within the same servicer, it is easier. You just change lender and then send a letter out like that. So Shanti is in New Jersey. She's located locally. So I got one more question. So I'm in Denville.
Morris County.
North County.
Good trout fishing up there, right?
Good trout fishing.
All right, so I got one more question. If I was all in with you on a monthly basis, what would be the most that I'd be paying you?
With an arm and everything.
Like if I took out all your services. And as a follow-up on that, does it matter if it's a $2,000 loan or a $100,000 loan or $1 million loan?
It doesn't matter the amount of the loan. The only way that there's a discount on any boarding or servicing program is if you board a certain amount of loans. If you were to board 1,000 loans, that's a totally different story. But there's a one-time boarding fee of $40 per loan. If you board 10 or more loans at one time, that fee drops down to $30. And then if your loan is non-performing and you put it under our full collection servicing program, which is where the asset manager does all the work for you, it's $95 a month until that loan becomes performing. Then if you wanted to do the client managed route, that's $30 a month. And when your loan becomes performing, or if you board a performing loan, it's $15 a month per loan.
So performing loans is and you have to continue servicing paying that fee. So $95, is that including any arms? If it's an arm loan at all?
No, the only time that there's a fee, an added fee, which I just discovered we were doing, I didn't know, to be honest, HELOC loans, line of credits. They are the most painful. They usually are just second liens. We can handle them. That's fine. But there is an added fee for that because what we're noticing is when the loans are coming over, they're not coming over, the HELOC loans specifically, are not coming over with correct information. So we're actually kind of curious how a lot of these other servicers are working right now. We're in the process of trying to figure that out because line of credits, their billing statements, they work like credit cards. They should always be, at least be billing current. It doesn't mean their due date is current, but they should be billing as current, and we're not showing that that's happening when they come from another servicer. So what that means is that if the borrower was due for 2008, I have to sit there and manually run 1,010,000,010 statements until it brings it the statement billing date to 2017.
Okay, so since I didn't take notes when you were talking about the costs and all that, there's a website that I can go
Yes, madisonmanagement.net.
All right.
There's tabs on the top right-hand corner. Under the loan servicing tab, it actually shows you, the only thing you're not going to see if there's a client managed, because it's not something that Madison Management is actually advertising like that anymore. But it does give you a breakdown of performing and non-performing, and then it also shows you the fees and any additional fees that we may charge, whether it's drafting of a satisfaction, QWR requests. We get those qualified written requests when a borrower calls in disputing their debt or sends in a written letter disputing their debt, and we have to respond. By law, we have to, as a servicer, even if the loan's client managed, we have to respond. And just gives you all the other fees that we have that you may be charged if you do something. We could pull credit reports, even if we're not servicing the loan and you need a credit report, you can go online and look at additional services, and we can order a credit report for you. I think it's $10 fee. You just got to send us the information of who the borrower is, their social, their address, and we'll send it back to you. Usually within 48 hours, you'll get it back.
So do you offer any kind of O&E report?
We do. Again, you have to pay for that. That's under the additional services. Not everybody requests that. What I've noticed, a lot of people are actually getting them when they're purchasing their note. Not by the time it hits our desk or my desk, because it actually comes over with the loan information that they're sending. But we can, if that's what you'd like. Again, you can order it on the website, and I'll lead you to a page as to how to order that. So we can do that as well.
And then if there's a problem with the collateral file, it's not missing or launch, what do you typically do, or how do you guys handle correcting those issues?
What happens, because usually what I've seen is that the most recent assignment or the most recent launch has been missing. It's not something that's in the middle of the chain. I don't see that too often. I will immediately contact you being the lender and say, one, I won't board your loan. Your loan cannot be boarded if it's not complete. Two, I have to talk to you and let you know that you need to go back to your seller. You might have the assignment and it might just be out for recording. Someone might just be recording it for you and we just don't have a copy of it yet. We at least need an unrecorded copy, knowing that your assignment is out for recording already, until you receive the recorded copy. But again, you can't do anything without it being recorded, such as walking into foreclosure. So I'll let you know if there's anything missing. I'll walk you through how to get it, but I won't go get it for you. That's your job being the lender.
What are the consequences if the loan is not being serviced by a licensed servicer? What kind of consequences can you face?
A lot. In the sense that a licensed servicer, borrowers are required to get certain information. They're required to get late notices. They're required to get monthly statements. Even in bankruptcy, they'll get monthly statements. So whoever tells you they're not supposed to, they're completely wrong. They need to know what they owe every month. At least. We don't have to send them a late notice, but they need to know how much they owe. If you don't have a licensed servicer, it kind of, who's doing your payment processing? How are you keeping track? How do you know where funds are being split between principal and interest? Especially if you have escrow. We do escrow servicing as well. There's no breakdown. We can at least keep a payment history that goes with the history of the loan. That is a big thing that we're realizing a lot of people don't have, is a complete payment history. You need to have certain things processed, and if it's ever asked, I know some states, one of my asset managers was telling me they were having a hard time helping this man with a foreclosure because we didn't have full payment history. It wasn't provided to us. It wasn't something that we required. It's also not on the spreadsheet that we asked to have filled out. But apparently these attorneys are asking for it now. So for it not to be the licensed servicer, there's things that aren't getting done. One. Two, who's sending out the tax form at the end of the year? If the borrower is paying something towards interest, how are they getting their 1098? That's something that they should get, and you should have a 1099 for the interest that's paid to you. That's also been the downfall if you don't have it. And then the benefit, again, we report to TransUnion for their credit. So a lot of these loans that get on loan modifications after years of delinquency, it does help them out in the long run. Or I know we've been seeing a lot of land contracts recently and contract for deeds. I know those borrowers are getting helped out a lot with us reporting. So there's just it kind of makes no sense for you to have your loan not with a licensed servicer, in the sense of just the basics that the borrower needs and should have.
For forced place insurance, if a borrower does not have insurance in a home, you guys can provide insurance on that property.
Yep, we have force-based insurance. What that is, and then it's under Madison Management's umbrella policy. So we only can offer it to loans that we're actually servicing, that are with a contract with us. What it is if the borrower doesn't have homeowner's insurance, or the property is vacant, you being an investor who just spent all this money on this note needs to protect your interests. That house can go up in flames at any second for God knows what reason. People can vandalize it. People can get injured on that property, and that falls back to you, and you want insurance on that. One thing I do know is that you can't just get force-placed insurance without making sure verifying the borrower has homeowner's insurance. If they do, according to rules and regulations, you're actually required to maintain an active homeowner's insurance policy for the borrower and make sure that you're listed as a loss payee on their policy. If they happen to have lost their policy before you even got the loan, then you were eligible for force-based insurance, which then you'd email me, hey, Shantae, I want force-based insurance. The requirements that we need to know is what's the property. It would be a loan that we have, so you could just send a loan number or borrower's name. How much you want the property insured for. What effective date, beginning when. It can be a date in the past. We can't put it on until the loan's boarded with us, but if you want it from the date you bought the note, which might have been 20 days earlier, that's fine. Is the property occupied or vacant? That'll make a big difference in what policy you need to fall under. I think that's it, because the rest of the information we should have, which is just the property address.
What's the best way to find out if a borrower has homeowner's insurance besides asking that?
That's like the only way you can actually find out, because homeowners insurance isn't like taxes where you can call the county tax collector or the city. It's really, really hard. If they do have homeowners insurance, it would come over with the previous information from the previous servicer. But again, on those borrowers that we have no luck speaking to, no one's ever been able to talk to, it becomes a little bit harder then. It's not like I said, it's not something you can just track down just like a tax bill, because there's so many different insurance policies, or agents out there. Unless they can provide you that information, you wouldn't know. If you don't know, of course, you fall under the option of force-placed insurance, because again, you need to protect your asset.
I have a question on something you said earlier. Under the client services where you manage your own clients, do you send out the monthly statements?
Yep. We'll send out monthly statements and late notices.
Okay.
We just won't call the borrower.
Huh?
You're falling in non-licensing?
Absolutely.
That's the biggest issue.
Right. No, I just wanted to know if they send out the statements. Okay.
You're able to see all the statements and late notices that we generate on the web portal. So every time it generates, statements generated are usually generated at least 15 days before the due date. I've actually do them a little bit further out, just to give everybody enough time. I know sometimes the postal service is super slow. But we'll still send those out. The only difference is that if they were to call in, we couldn't, outside of giving them basic information, their principal balance, the last time they paid, their next due date kind of thing, we force them to speak with you or whoever you tell us to have them talk to.
Okay.
Awesome. Any other questions for Shantae? No? I'm good. You're all good? All right. Shantae, thank you so much, hon. Have a great night. Feel better?
No problem. You guys get out of that snow tonight. Hopefully it's not too bad if you're all in Jersey.
You're going to get worse than we are, so.
Well, I'm not going to work tomorrow, but I will be working from home. So emails are welcome.
Thank you.
No problem. You guys have a great night, and thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thanks a lot.